Yes, what's going on, people? How are you? What's good? Yeah, week 12. Hope you're well from wherever you're watching. And yes, things are getting better, God willing. And yeah, it's just sorry, this beat just took me there for a minute. I played this one last week to you guys, and I was debating whether to show you another one that I'm working on with my daughter, but I think I'll save that for another week. I've got something a bit different planned for you guys today, but yeah, welcome. I hope we haven't got any glitches today. Doesn't look like it. And yeah, it's been a long week. Had a bit of a move around in the studio, so I don't know if the levels are still the same, but I moved the keyboard. As you can tell, it's no longer here. So it's in front of me now. And yeah, the reason why also I haven't put out any beats that I've been making on here is I have no monitor speakers at the moment, so I'm just waiting for some new speakers to arrive, and then I can get cracking on giving you guys some more free beats. But yeah, if you haven't done so already and you're joining me today, please subscribe. I started a new series called Tutorial Tuesdays, and that's going through FL Studio. Most of the stuff you can apply to any DAW, and I do a live session on Sundays. Most of the time it's going to be what I've been working on. Eventually I think we're going to be doing some live cook-ups, and in the future I would like to do my do a session called Feedback Fridays. So I get a lot of people asking me, you know, what they think of the music they made, the mixing, the mastering, any tips, tricks, basically. So that I think will give an opportunity to help you guys as well showcase your work. I think it's great to network with people, and it just builds yourself a wider audience as well. So yeah, okay, let's get started. So this beat I'm gonna load up right now. I had a different one, like I said, to show you. I wasn't sure. I had a few that I've worked on this week. Actually had a bit more time to work on some stuff, but yeah, I wasn't sure what to show you, but I think the last one was a bit softer than usual, what I would normally make. So this one is basically something what I would probably spit to. Just to give you a quick overview, not to forget my tip of the week. As you can see, I've fully finished my template now. So I've got my mixer channels all set up here, which I've explained before, and I also spent the time to create these channels here. In fact, what I'll do is I'll just load a new template, then you guys can see that. Yeah, there we go. So I've got all the sounds loaded in here, and what this allows me to do is literally drag and drop any sound that I want on top of this, and it will be colored in the correct group and go to the right channel in the mixer. Now I've applied the same template, I guess you could call it, to the playlist here, and what this has allowed me to do, it's not going to work in the same way as you've got the sounds here, because these are your pattern sequences, but what this does is if I've got two different patterns for a kick drum, or you know, the claps or anything like that, then I can put them in here. I've still kept the naming convention as using it as a clap bus, but what I actually use this for is if I want to put any automation on the claps themselves. So that could be on the clap bus or on the individual claps, but at least the automation will then have a space in the playlist and be separate. So organization again is always what I stress, and that is to me really important in helping your workflow. The last thing that you want is to be doing unnecessary tasks on you know, coloring and wiring, if you're going to do that all the time. Another cool thing that I've just learned is if you, and I probably should have done this before, but if you right click on any one of your tracks, you can put it to what's called track mode. And this audio track here, that corresponds, as you can tell, with every mixer track. And you can change it to an instrument track as well, so you can add your specific VST in there. But what this will do is, if what have I got loaded at the moment? Let's just go for the 808 one. So if I right click on this and go to track mode and go to audio track and then go to the 808 bus, as you can see, it's got an A there, which means it's an audio track. And automatically this bus, or 808 bus, got highlighted. So if I rename this, for example, and I'll just put 2, if you notice here as well, in mixer track 7, that will also change. There you go. So it's all linked. So you haven't got to, if you rename something here, you haven't got to change it back in your mixer. I believe it works both ways as well. So let's just test that out. Let's change that to 3. Yeah, there you go. So it works both ways. I think that's really useful. Also, the reason why I've grouped these as well, if I'm listening to the whole playlist, I'm just gonna hit hold Alt, sorry, and left click. That will mute everything within that group. So the way you group is you just right click on any track and group with the above track. So you can name your groups that way. And keep everything together. It just makes it easier when you're listening to various sounds and things like that. So yeah, let me get this other beat loaded and I will take you through making this one. So this one last night, I started, not too sure actually, I think we started it quite late. Shout out to the wifey, she was in the studio with me last night. It's not her favourite place to be, but yeah, okay, let's have a look. Yeah, there you go, started it at midnight. Yeah, and just spent just over an hour on it. So yeah, let's go for it. By the way, if it sounds terrible, I apologize. It's because, like I said, I haven't got any monitor speakers at the moment to do any mixing or mastering. Forget mastering, but any mixing or hearing anything in there. So literally got these £15 Sony headphones at the moment. I've got some headphones on order with the speakers, and I'm just using some basic I think they're Logitech USB speakers at the minute. So yeah, I apologize in advance. I love that piano loop. Pull that back. I don't know if you guys noticed, the master was maxed out. It's because these speakers are so quiet, I just couldn't hear anything. So let's go for that again. Let me know what you think of the drop. It's got that power to it. Yeah. I'm just gonna show you what the mix is doing right now. So you see it is working the template because I've got everything there and I can see it all clearly. Just like having those different variations through them. Let me just expand these so you can see them. And again, with the template, what it allows me to do is, obviously I'm not needing to use every element, but if you're stuck on what sounds you think you might want to use, or you know, what elements to add in, you've got that there. Yeah, it's got that pump feeling in it. I mean, you can hear the difference of when that that vocal chant comes in. What that, you know what I mean? It just adds. If we take it out, obviously it comes out here. But if we just show on a drop, for me it didn't have the same power, so I had to keep it in. It just gives you that energy. So I'm gonna take you through the beat actually. Let's build it up little by little then. So obviously we got the sample. I've got the bass here as well. And that's a guitar loop coming up there. I had the violin. So originally I had planned to do this as using the violins for like a chorus section, but as the beat progressed, I kind of kept it as a 4-bar switch to add different elements, and the violin, so I got a guitar sample coming up here and the violin clashed with that, so I took that out and it comes back in. So let's bring in the hats. So I started off with these hats here, so let me just loop this bit here. I just felt it had that ready to go feel. With the snares, I actually plan to do a halftime snare with it as well, but yeah, I didn't keep the snare in there. So let's add the next hi-hat. So then I wanted to keep that groove going in there as it's building, and then obviously it's that power, so we need the rolls in there. And I'll show you guys how I've done the roll as well. There you go. Very basic. I'm not into all these mad hi-hats here, there, everywhere that people do. I like organic sounds really, so to me a drummer wouldn't do that. I'm not knocking it, it sounds good, but just ain't for me. And obviously I had that open hi-hat. Or a sound similar to that, but I actually had that in after, so I put my snare pattern in. And once I had that, I wanted a little snap in there, so I don't know if you guys can hear that. Let me pull that out there. It's just in between the snare roll, so if we go here, it sits right there. And then I added more little sounds, like I say, the open hat. And I love the tambourines, man. So when you're adding all these extra sounds, you gotta identify where they will suit and not have too many in there. So I've got a reverse crash with the main crash in there as well. And I like doing that sort of feel because I think that identifies and emphasizes the beginning and end of the bar. So once I had that groove going, I did add the triangle and the work. In fact, I probably added that after. I just knew that it needed that, but I couldn't find it at the time. And you can just play with it as well, see what works. Obviously when you're recording with your artists, like I've said, you'll find where they fit best. And then it's time for the kicks. This is my favourite part. So we might as well run the whole thing. Let's go. And then obviously it came to arranging. So once we decided that, you know, it's gonna be a 4-bar switch, basically what I did was copied and pasted the main melody, bass, etc., and then worked from the violins, swap those round with the guitar, and then put all the drum loops in there, every element. And then it was a case of just listening to it and feeling what points do you want to add, what points do you want to remove anything. I guess that's really my tip of the week, is the arrangement. Once you've got every element of your song that you want, like this one, it changed for me. What I was gonna have as the chorus and the verses, I just wanted it as, you know, a typical kind of freestyle beat really, and I was just listening to it thinking, right, what would I want to come out there to emphasize? There you go. And it's, you know, for me this isn't complete either. I would definitely put some risers in, maybe some more breaks. What I would probably do myself is spit some bars over it, and once we got the bars on there, it would give me an idea of where some breaks would be. Obviously it would be all dependent on whoever's spitting on it, their flow, but it just gives you a good natural idea of where you want them pauses. The melody carries it, you know. But yeah, that's this week's beat. Once I got all my speakers and everything done, like I say, I will upload them to the Feel 4 channel. Go and subscribe on there, please, if you haven't. There's some great beats on there. There's a couple of instrumentals by my boy Phaser. He produced the last freestyle I done. He co-produced it, and I did the mixing and mastering on that one. So yeah, once it's done, they'll be available for free download on there. There'll be a link on there. I'll link the beats back that I've used back in here. And thank you again. Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining me. I hope you're well. Please subscribe. It really helps. And again, thank you to everybody who subscribed recently. I really appreciate it. And bless.